Once you become an entrepreneur, you're officially unemployable.
You're ruined.
Reanna Werner is here to reveal why your hiring process is broken and how to fix your culture before it destroys your business.
His first client meeting was in our basement guest bedroom / office. Didn't even have a chair for the client.
Oh, man.
They sat on our guest bedroom bed and talked about taxes.
What's a model you'd give to an entrepreneur for risk?
Will it keep us up at night?
Mm-hmm.
Will this decision make us feel bad about ourselves?
What does that do to your confidence?
I didn't feel any potential in myself. I had the world tell me for 1.5 years I suck.
Was it hard to get into that space of managing people?
We were disorganized, discombobulated, no systems, no processes, and we wanted that employee to put it all together. We hire for culture, 110% cultural fit. You can train skills all day long. You cannot train.
All right, folks. So we want to take a quick minute to introduce our diamond sponsor, Chris Seegers with Exceptional Business Advisors. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your business, sir?
Man, a question that we love to ask our potential clients is, do you know what your business is worth? And if you sold your business today, would it fulfill your personal and financial goals? If you're a successful business owner, but you don't know when or how to sell your business, and if you've ever wondered what each additional day in your business is actually costing you, we'd love to chat. If you're ready to spend more time with your family, your friends, or traveling, come sit down with our team, because when you work with exceptional business advisors, we'll help you build a blueprint to sell your business successfully and help you create, capture, and achieve your dream life. Don't wait for the right time. The time's now. Go ahead and scan the QR code or book a discovery appointment at excoadvisors.com.
Now let's get back to the show.
Welcome back to the COS Business Podcast, #1 podcast in Colorado Springs. Today I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Chris. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, brother.
Yeah,
Really excited about this one.
Yeah, this is gonna be a great one. So we have Reanna Werner with Savion HQ. How you doing?
I am doing fantastic. Thank you for the invite tonight, guys.
Well, this is a long time coming because we've been wanting to get you on for quite some time now. We met with Jason from your team back in, I think, June time.
Yeah.
And thank goodness, I mean, you guys, for one, thank you for sponsoring our show and being supportive of our show and what we're doing here. I'm so glad to finally showcase everything that we're doing. It's because of people like you. So thank you so much, first and foremost. And let's just dive into your business from the very beginning, because you have a pretty interesting story with your career starting from the very beginning. So let's just start there.
Oh, my story. You guys, my story started when I was 16 years old. My best friend, her dad owned a recruiting firm back in the 90s. And so after school, we used to go over to her house and source resumes straight off of the fax machine.
No
Paper
way,
cuts
really?
galore. Yes. And he used to have us with highlighters highlight keywords, like SEO does now.
Yeah.
Well, I was the SEO. I was I was the AI bot, and went through highlighted keywords, put all the resumes in piles, and drank instant coffee all night. And that's how my career started. I realized then at that point, people were pretty much chalking up their whole entire life's work to one page. And I wanted to understand more between those words and those lines. And it hit me. I'm like, people's alarms 5 days a week, if not more, go off to fill this one piece of paper. And so it really drove me into wanting to understand the psychology behind work and businesses. Businesses are people. And I wanted to figure out what makes businesses tick through the people. And well, here I am 30 years later, and I have built an incredible career in understanding the psychology behind business and understanding the people who make the businesses run. So that's kind of a fast forward, but it's very rare for an HR professional to get the entrepreneurial bug.
Right.
Usually you get into your career and expect to work for someone.
For sure.
You work in an HR department.
Who usually tell you what you can't do. Right? They're like, don't do that. Instead of like, the entrepreneurs are always like, what can we do?
Yes.
Well,
Like
let's
the
go
vice
do it.
principal's office or something
That's
like
right.
that.
Exactly.
And that's what I always struggled with within my career. I hated working within those boxes. And I would have, my boss tell me, oh, you got to follow the policy. You got to follow the parameter. I'm like, the back of my mind, like, yeah, but couldn't we do this? Like, this is kind of gray. It's not breaking the law and it's getting what we need. Like, why can't we play and dabble? And so I think that entrepreneurial spirit always bubbled in me, but I didn't understand what it was. I wanted to break the rules, not like fully break them, but see how far I could go. And
Was that family? Came from your family, or do you think it was just genetically encoded in you, just like for you? Where'd that bug come from?
probably a little bit of both.
Okay.
My grandfather was a serial entrepreneur.
Nice.
But as a little girl, by the time I was old enough to remember, he was retired. Well, I take that back. He owned a Scuzzy car lot. Literally, like he was the used
Nice.
car salesman. I used to get lollipops when I would go visit my pappy at his car lot. If I didn't tell my grandma about the Playboy pinups that were hanging up in the garage. So he was very entrepreneurial. I didn't learn a whole lot from him, but I think it was the genes that was just bred in. So a little bit of that, yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, so I think the defining moment for me was it's hard here in Colorado Springs to get an HR job. It's a corporate headquarter type of position, and we don't have a lot of corporate headquarters here.
For sure.
So I found myself laid off from a position. It was during, the economic boom, 2008, 2010. And we're all defined by what we do for a living. I mean, the first question someone asks you is, what's your name? Second question is, what do you do?
Which is
Right?
unfortunate.
It
Which is why I
is.
never lead with that question.
Good for you.
Yeah, it's really sad, honestly. I always lead with where are you from? Because I feel like there's so many more avenues you can go with that. But as soon as somebody asks me, what do you do? It's like, oh man, now we got to talk about just what's on that piece of paper, like you said.
You're right. You're
really
right. Like
interesting.
on that piece of paper.
Mhm.
But we all find it as a definition of ourselves.
Mhm.
Even if someone's not asking about it, it's still how we define ourselves.
For sure.
And I had a hard time finding a job. And a year and a half in, I had a girlfriend who's a very successful online marketer, entrepreneur, made millions and millions of dollars. She got sick and tired of seeing me pretty much curled up in the fetal position, trying to figure out what I want to do with my life. Pretty depressed and drinking a little too much, probably. And she came over and picked me up off the floor and invested $10,000 into a drop ship gift basket company and said,
Interesting.
here, do something. And so she invested in me. And that really sparked the entrepreneurial bug. Yeah.
Can you talk more about that? Because I think like tangible investment, when it comes from, especially from outside your family,
Yeah.
changes your whole life trajectory. So talk a little bit more about how that felt and how that,
Chris, you're right. It really, really did. Having someone see potential in you when you I didn't feel any potential in myself. I had the world tell me for a year and a half, I suck, right? They didn't want me. And all I wanted, we all need to be needed in a way.
For sure.
And while my children could fill that void a little bit, I needed that career. I'm a very career-driven, aspirational individual. And so for the world to tell me, no, you're not needed or wanted was really hard. And so for her to pour into me in a different way and not say you're needed or wanted, but you're worth so much more than that,
Love
that
it.
you're worth investing into, pouring into. And it wasn't just the $10,000. It was her time and guidance and mentorship and just pure love. It's a leap of faith that not many people are willing to take on someone,
For sure.
especially when they're so low, right? But it was special, and it was It was life-changing, not just for me, but my husband, Brian, too, because that also fed his entrepreneurial spirit as well. It changed our whole family.
I love that.
Wow, what a
Yeah.
blessing for sure. And that friend
Yeah.
is invested, and like we were talking about before, that external validation from outside your family is so important. For someone to really believe in you, I mean, what does that do to your confidence? Talk about that a little bit more when someone just is investing, not only monetary, like Chris is saying, but just believing in you. And when you're not believing in yourself, and someone to come out of nowhere, or maybe it's a close friend, but come out of essentially nowhere because they're not part of your original upbringing and believe in you, it's just so special. And so like when you're learning all these different hurdles in entrepreneurship we were talking about before we started shooting, and all the different, ignorance taxes that we're paying as we're learning our way, how did that friend, work alongside of you during that time as well?
Oh gosh, you threw so many questions at me. Okay, let's start with the confidence question. I find that one to be intriguing. First, the initial investment was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this. I'm going to try because she believes in me. Buck up, Buttercup, get your stuff together. And let's figure this out. And then once I got the rhythm and started figuring things out, I think my confidence started to slowly come back. But you guys know, as an entrepreneur, once you get your confidence, you get knocked back down pretty quick,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Always. If you're doing it right.
Yeah. You quickly learn what you're doing wrong all the time. I call it fail fast. I have a sign that I kept on my wall when I first started HR branches for the first 3 years of the business. It's literally said fail fast. And it was written, nothing fancy, nothing pretty. It was me. I wrote in crayon on a piece of printer paper and stuck it there because I knew I needed to make mistakes over and over and over again to get to the right answer. So Catherine, the friend who invested in me, she taught me that. So I can't say I ever had like incredible confidence even through that experience, but I knew I was blessed. And I knew that I had a team, a cheering section who was willing to say, you know what, keep going. We believe in you. So what, you get knocked down? Pick yourself back up. We've got you. When I wasn't able to hold myself up and keep steady, they kept me steady. So I think the confidence thing is never really, I don't think I ever want to get too confident in being an entrepreneur. I don't ever want to get too comfortable because then that puts me in a place of complacency.
For sure. Got to stay humble.
Yeah.
Don't rest on your laurels.
No, rest on
Yes,
your laurels. 100%.
exactly. I think complacency puts you in a place of stagnant. And I don't want to grow mold. Do you guys? Ugh.
We'd like to take a quick break and thank our sponsors.
Brightleaf Energy. Brightleaf Energy is revolutionizing how businesses approach sustainability.
They're the experts in building decarbonization, bringing collaboration, innovation, and flexibility to every project.
Whether you need a strategic decarbonization roadmap or flexible engineering support to scale your team, Brightleaf helps you crush your ESG goals while optimizing facility performance.
Learn more at brightleafenergy.com. That's brightleafenergy.com.
Junkin Hall.
Need to clear out clutter fast?
Junkin Hall is Colorado Springs' go-to for same-day junk removal.
With the eco-friendly service and a 5-star team you can trust.
Visit junkinhall.com to schedule your free estimate today. That's JUNKNHAUL.com.
Bolton Co. Executive Coaching.
Up feels better than stuck. You know that. But in this market, how do you get unstuck and get ahead as an executive?
Our guy JB is an executive coach at Bolton Co. Coaching, where he believes you don't have to change who you are. You just need an injection of effectiveness and a proven competitive edge roadmap for your way up. Head to boltonco.net. That's boltonco.net. Be Our Guest Getaways. Be Our Guest Getaways specializes in Disney cruise resort and theme park vacations.
Planning a Disney vacation can be stressful. Let Be Our Guest Getaways provide you with concierge-level service for free.
Learn more at beourguestgetaways.com. That's beourguestgetaways.com. Planet Duct.
Planet Duct is the #1 choice for professional air duct cleaning in Colorado Springs and Southern Colorado. With state-of-the-art equipment and top-tier service, they make sure the air in your home or business is clean and allergen-free. Breathe easier with Planet Duct. Learn more at planetduct.com.
Awesome Home Services. Awesome Home Services delivers top-notch HVAC solutions for your home. Whether you need heating, cooling, or system maintenance, they ensure your comfort year-round. Visit awesomeservice.com for your HVAC needs. That's awesomeservice.com.
Proud American Electrical and Solar.
Give Proud American Electrical and Solar a call today for all your electrical and solar needs. They are locally owned and operated business right here in Colorado Springs. If you're looking for information on solar, this is the company you will want to call. Check out their website at proudamericansolar.com. Use promo code COS Business for a 5% discount today.
Pinnacle Advanced Primary Care.
Pinnacle Advanced Primary Care offers affordable, accessible healthcare with a focus on you. They provide exceptional primary care without the hassle of insurance barriers. Experience a patient-centered approach. Learn more at pinnacleapc.com.
And now let's get back to the show. Tony Robbins says only the paranoid survive.
Yeah, for sure.
And I believe that in full. If you've been around long
Yes.
enough in the business world, that makes a whole lot of sense. And I've had business partners in the past who are not as paranoid as me, and they're always calling me paranoid, but it's helped us survive because you're always got to be on top of things, and you always got to be looking as best you can around the corners of what can hit you. And then again, there's things that are going to hit you no matter what, but you have to be prepared, right? You can't just be
True.
reactive. Those are the first couple of years is you're kind of being reactive. You're trying to fill all these holes on this boat that's trying to sink on you. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to fill all these holes. But eventually, like you learn how to seal the boat and you're learning to be more proactive with your approach. So talk
So
about those
true.
steps, like as you're kind of working your way up and then introducing to HR branches as well.
Yeah, well, my story cannot begin, HR Branch's story cannot begin without the story of BRW Tax and Accounting. So I eventually did get another HR position and it filled my soul. I went back to the corporate life. But you guys know this. Once you become an entrepreneur, you're officially unemployable.
You're ruined.
Like you're ruined,
For
right?
sure.
So I tried to go back to the corporate world and I enjoyed it. It filled my soul, but I was ruined. Like I did great with my boss for a while. And then she's like, okay, you're too controlling. You want too much of a say. You want too much, too many hands in the all the pots. And I was ruined. And simultaneously, my husband was working at an accounting firm up in Denver. And he was offered partnership. And I'll never forget this day. He came home and walked through our garage door into the kitchen. And with dread in his eyes, he looks at me and he says, they offered me partnership. I mean, what CPA with dread in their eyes says
That's
that?
a golden ticket, right?
Yeah,
That's what you work
like
for.
that is the cornerstone of every CPA's career. That's what they seek to achieve. And I said, what the hell? Okay, what are we talking about here? And he looked at me, he says, this cannot be the rest of my life. And so rather than popping open the bubbly, we cracked open a beer and said, okay, well, what does the rest of your life look like? And over a couple beers, he looked at me, or we came to the realization that we wanted to start our own firm. He wanted to start his own firm. And he wanted to do it on his own. He didn't want to buy a book of business. He wanted to build it exactly as he wanted it. And about 2 or 3 months later, he put in his resignation. And typical with any CPA firm, you're walked out immediately. So luckily, he had his office set up. And it was in our basement of our bed, it was our guest bedroom in our basement. And he started building that book of business. His first client meeting was in our basement guest bedroom / office. Didn't even have a chair for the client.
Oh man.
They sat on our guest bedroom bed and talked about taxes. That night we ran to Goodwill. Bought chairs.
That's a pretty cool story.
Yeah. And then eventually he moved into like a singular office in Monument, took the Goodwill chairs with him. About 2 months later, one of those chairs broke underneath a client. So then we went to American Furniture Warehouse and got real chairs.
Nice.
But one of the remaining chair actually still lives in infamy in our office.
You should keep it.
Still, oh yeah.
Keep it forever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gold
Nobody
plated.
sits in it.
A hot seat.
Can I back you up? Because you said something I think is really important. So there's this concept that you've got these dreams, right?
Yeah.
And even if you're meticulous on writing them down, it's very consistent that if you're not tracking them pretty quickly, you may get out of alignment with those dreams.
Yeah.
And with our clients, we say, look, you got to be thinking about this every quarter, because most accountants, most folks that are in white collar services, the whole goal is work a ton of hours so you can be a partner, so you can work a ton more hours, so you can make more money. And if you're not actually evaluating that and saying like, is that what I really want out of life? Most people just stay on that track for a long, long time. Then they get to be partner and they're like, this is terrible. Well, I'm partner now, so I've got too much to give up to not do that. So I think that's incredible. So as you think about the next phase, what were the things that when you guys were sitting there drinking that beer that were guiding that, hey, I want to start this thing? Was it a freedom focus? Was it we're broken now because we're entrepreneurs and we have to do this? Like, give us a little bit of that headspace.
That is such an interesting question that, Chris, I appreciate. I don't think anybody's ever asked what that I've told this story many, many times, as most entrepreneurs tell their origin story, but nobody's asked that question. So thank you. That conversation was a dreamer's conversation. It was. We dreamt big and we knew exactly what we wanted. We wanted that freedom, but not just for ourselves, but for the team that we built around us. Both Brian and I gave up a lot to have our careers. We missed a lot of dance recitals and soccer games and school assemblies and field trips and all the things, right? And we tell our team who works for us today, if they ever miss any family event, we'll have a conversation and it won't be a good conversation. I'm tearing up.
That's important.
It is. It's really important to us. But we also wanted to work within a place that everybody enjoyed. Everybody felt good at. And I'm really proud of what we built. At Savion with the businesses now, I'm sure we'll kind of get to that change. Hospitality is our core value. Hospitality, internal, external, all the way around. And one thing we know for sure is as hospitality, as the core foundation of everything we are and who we are, it empowers all of us to be better people and better at our jobs so we can better serve our community. And it started with that beer. We knew we wanted to be good and we wanted to create good. And of course, we wanted to be profitable, but we wanted to be profitable with a different sense, a different guiding light. And we wanted to have fun doing it. I really like to curse. And so that was one of my really, really, really big requirements, is that I could say the F word at work. And I do.
If you want to say it now, I'll bleep it.
Okay, you guys want to hear this? Brian jokes with me all the time. I have two favorite words. Both of them start with F and both of them are 4 letters. Free and fuck. They're my favorite.
That's a good clip right there. I won't bleep that one. I'll leave that one in. That's a good one.
That's perfect. I know on the website, I was looking at the website earlier today, and like there's a tab that says free shit. That's all it says is on it. I'm like, oh, okay. That's like, their blogs and stuff. I was just cracking up that you had that on the website. It's very much your guys' personality on there.
It is.
Which is interesting as an HR company, huh?
Yeah. Imagine I broke the mold. I always wanted to. And we did. You can still have fun and say curse words and not break the law.
For sure.
Yeah.
We've talked a lot about this, Marcus and I, that society has sold us a bill of goods on what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
And it's all failing right now. I mean, people should be paranoid. The whole marketplace is going to be interrupted because we went away from solving problems in the environment to just being like, well, people tell us this is how it's supposed to be.
Yes.
And in our businesses, if any of my employees comes to me and says, hey, we're kind of doing it this way, but I think this is the best way, I'm like, go try it.
Yeah.
What, like anything we do, a process, if it can be improved on, we should immediately improve on and move on with it, and never think that there's a box that we should stay within. That's what this country was founded on.
It is.
Right? You had a bunch of people in England that were like, no, I don't want the king to tell me how I need to live my life, do religion, do commerce. Let's get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's woven into America, but somehow we constricted this, and our government is doing a terrible job of restricting our freedoms and putting all these bills and legislation and rules, especially around HR, to be like, it's all about downside risk, instead of being like, no, you need to go after the problem that needs to be solved in the marketplace. And the profit's always going to be a byproduct of solving that really well.
Absolutely.
And that's why I love your brand, because you guys are totally different. HR and accounting are the most boring things you could possibly talk about, right? They really are. And if you go meet with the professional, it's going to be the same experience. And you guys have said, we believe we can solve this problem using our unique abilities in a totally different flavor, which I think is really important to the marketplace.
Yeah.
So.
Fuck mahogany desks.
Exactly. There you go. We're going to have a lot of bleeping in.
Yeah. I love it. Well, let's talk about it now, because in the very beginning, you're bootstrapping, I'm assuming everything.
Yeah. 2 businesses.
Yeah. So talk about that. So your husband goes off and he's doing his business, and then I'm assuming you go off and you're starting to do yours.
Yeah.
Talk about those early days, learning as best you can at all your expense, I'm assuming, and just trying to survive and push through.
It was really interesting. Brian started to get his feet beneath him, really starting to make great progress with the business. I jump off the cliff. I start HR branches. Started it in our bedroom. He started in our basement. I started branches in our bedroom. The only person I talked to, actually, I'm sorry, June was not a person. The only being I talked to during working hours for about a year was our chameleon. Her name is June. If you guys want to meet June, she is on our website.
I was about to say, it says ask June on your website.
Yeah, exactly. June lives as our AI chatbot. So she'll live in infamy, but she is the basis of our knowledge. She helped me build all of HR branches. But it's interesting, as both businesses started to actually grow legs and get our wits about us, we moved into an office space downtown Colorado Springs, September of 2019.
Oof.
Yeah, we moved. I think this is about the time we met you, Andrew.
That's when I moved out here. Yeah, around that time.
Yeah. So we threw a huge launch party. We were so excited. We had these plans of filling the office, and COVID happened, and the whole world shut down. But we didn't. Small businesses needed us. They didn't have any support, any resources. Accounting firms were not picking up their phones.
For sure.
They were not. And then as far as HR, there were no resources for small businesses out there. There was no HR professional out there saying, let me help you. They were all focused on their own jobs at their corporate headquarters,
For
right?
sure. Yeah.
And so we partnered with the SBDC, the SBA, Exponential Impact, when they launched, which was a few months after COVID, but when they launched, we partnered with them. Pikes Peak Workforce Center. We partnered with everybody we could just to share information on everything from EIDL to safe workplace, what happens if you have to lay off. I don't know how many severance agreements I put together. We worked around the clock. We tallied it up at the end of 2020, and just in the year of 2020 alone, we gave away $115,000 worth of services that year.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I think that it was exhausting and tiring and the hardest we ever worked. But I think that period of my life was probably, and I think Brian could say the same, some of the work that we're most proud of.
That's great.
So we did some really good stuff and helped a lot of really good people who otherwise I don't think would have had resources.
How do you think that built your courage going into the rebrand and just changed your frame? Because what I've found is when I go through something that's just absolutely horrible, it creates a new level of like, okay, well, if this happens, it's not that bad. And then something worse happens. You're like, okay, we got sued.
Your resilience.
We got sued.
Yeah.
It's not that bad. Walk us through that, because a lot of people launched their businesses right before COVID. And then a lot of them either collapsed or became invincible.
Yeah.
Those were the two camps that I saw. So walk us through that a little bit.
I think your pain tolerance goes up.
For sure.
Right. Our pain tolerance went up because not only did we carry the load of our businesses, our two businesses, we carried the heaviness of probably a couple hundred businesses around town too. So we didn't just see the pain of what we were going through. We saw the pain and carried it alongside with many other people. So I think it made our hearts bigger, but our pain tolerance stronger. There's a lot that keeps us up at night, but there's not a lot that ruffles our feathers anymore.
Yeah. That's
Whereas emotionally, we would get worked up. I would say, yeah, COVID is a really good kind of dividing line for us. We would get emotionally invested in certain circumstances. It is a lot less emotional now, a lot less. It's very rare we get emotional. I think COVID really trained us to look at risk in the right way and say, okay, well, we're posed with a problem now. What's our greatest risk? How can we mitigate it? And do we have to get creative to solve it? And what's our desired outcome? And
For sure.
so I think it really trained us to look at problems and hurdles that way.
What's a model you'd give to an entrepreneur for risk? Because I think that's probably one of the biggest factors for people being successful or not. Most people take zero risk, and so they have very little success in life.
Yeah.
And then there's some entrepreneurs that have a lot of success, and then they take too much risk and they lose it all. But what's a good model that you've found for you guys?
For us, it comes down to really two, maybe three. Yeah, I'm going to go with three primary criteria. First, profitability, right? Like, are we going to lose our asses on
No,
this?
you're good.
You're gonna lose a lot.
As long as it's not in the first 10 minutes, you're fine. So just
Yeah.
feel comfortable. Yeah.
Are we going to lose on this? Are we breaking the law? Like, is this going to put us in court? And also, will it keep us up at night? Will this decision make us feel bad about ourselves? There's a lot of other factors, humans. How will this impact other humans? What will it do to them? There's a lot, but I think every business owner needs to understand their own risk tolerance.
For sure.
I think ours is, Brian and I work in risk a lot. And so I think because of our careers, we know where that edge is legally. And for us, I think we're a little bit more tolerant of risk and willing to take risk. For our clients, we're a little more conservative, though as understanding our clients' risk tolerance goes a long way too.
Absolutely.
Because if they're going to be more, risk tolerant, we're going to get a little bit more creative. But if they're a little bit more risk adverse, we're going to be like, okay, here's your box. This is what you need to know. But for us, we're a lot more risk tolerant and a lot more creative. So as long as we're not staying up at night, we're not breaking the law, and we're not losing, I think that's pretty much where we weight most of our risk decision making.
Perfect. So talk about, as you're starting to get into what you are now as Savion and the past few years in your separate businesses, and then eventually making the move to kind of merge the businesses and rebrand.
Perfect. We always knew we wanted to merge both businesses. And we also knew we were creating confusion in the marketplace by having two separate businesses housed underneath the same roof. We were sharing employees. We had like this really weird setup with, an umbrella company that was pretty much our holding company for our employees. And they weren't even really confused, or they were really confused about who they worked for or what they did. It was just confusing. And so we always knew that we wanted to put both businesses together, but it had never really been done before. We looked all over the nation for some sort of model in what we wanted to create. We couldn't find it, you guys. Heck, I could barely even find an HR consulting firm that does what I do as a competitor. So finding this headquarters or small business headquarters type of model was virtually impossible. We had to dig and dig to find one in New York City and one in LA. Still to this day, that's all we can find.
Wow.
But really what kicked us over was we hired a marketing consultant, and he looked at us and he's like, you've got to fix this. You guys operate kind of as one, but people can't really figure out what you do or how you operate. You guys are, supporting each other's services, but not. It's like, just merge it all. And he really convinced us. And in that room was also our whole entire team. And they pretty much supported this consultant. They're like, yeah, we've got you. We're going to figure it out. Let's do this. And they rallied again or around us. And so Brian and I think alongside with the marketing consultant telling us, we paid him a lot of money to tell us like 3 sentences of what we needed to hear. A lot of money. But it was our team saying, we've got you. We're going to jump in and help you figure this out. That was the deciding factor for us. Like, okay, we don't really know what we're building or how we're going to build it, but let's do this. And it kind of took me back to that fail fast sign that I had on my wall all those years ago. And I wish I still had that sign. But it was kind of a rally call at that point. So it was really, really neat. And we spent a year as a team building a business together. And that was quite the experience too. Very different from where we started.
Can you explain the concept behind what you've built for our audience?
Yeah.
Because when I was prepping, I was just like, the same thing that you just said. I'm like, this has not been done. This is a very unique concept. And I think that it's very useful for our listeners to understand exactly, or our viewers to understand exactly what you do.
Yeah, it's simple but complex. So I'm going to make it as simple as possible. Savion HQ essentially turns a small business owner's passion and makes it profitable. So we take care of all the back office stuff, right? Everything that a small business owner got into business to not do. Small business owners got into business to see their passion become a reality, make their dream a reality. They did not get into business to do books, taxes, payroll, or HR, right? They don't care about compliance. They don't care about reconciling the books. That's our job. We take care of all those back office things. And you guys as entrepreneurs also know that there are 2 things that keep small business owners up at night: the people and the money. So really, when it comes down to it, that's really what we do. So we help small business owners sleep at night.
That's super good.
That's a good slogan right there. That's pretty good. And you've coined it, like you said, like fractional headquarters, almost like a fractional back office kind of thing.
Yeah.
Talk about that too in your industry. I know you said there hasn't been too many like fractional HR businesses or things like that, but we've seen that as a trend for like CFOs. There's like fractional CMO services.
Yeah.
I feel like those are popping up a lot more. Is that true to say?
Yeah, but we kind of take it from a different angle, right? We're not taking it from the executive level.
Right.
Brian and I can step in with that executive perspective, but it's more of that fractional team. We consider ourselves a part of our client's team. We're not just consulting. I'm not going to sit on the phone and tell you what to do, expect you to execute with vigor, right? Who wants to execute HR with vigor? You want to write your employee handbook with vigor? Yeah, right. That's what we do. So we're a part of your team and we actually do the work.
We're going to take a quick break to thank our sponsors.
Rain Tech.
RainTech is a trusted IT partner that keeps your business running smoothly.
From cybersecurity to cloud solutions and data recovery, they've got your back so you can focus on what you do best.
Learn more at rain.tech. That's RAIN.tech. HR branches.
Is your back office chaos? Are you buried in HR, payroll, and financial guesswork?
Your passion shouldn't be a prison. Savion HQ is your fractional back office partner. We merge HR, payroll, accounting, and tax to bring order to the chaos and make your passion profitable again.
Stop the bleed, get your freedom back. Find us at savionhq.com or email at hello@savionhq.com.
Data Hubs is a compliance, intelligence, and orchestration platform that helps organizations meet the requirements of frameworks like ISO 27001, SOC 2, CMMC, HIPAA, GDPR, and more.
Data Hubs gives small and mid-sized businesses a premium compliance experience while cutting down the time, cost, and stress it usually takes to get across the finish line. Learn more at datahubs.com. That's DATAHUBZ.com.
Reveal Med Spa. Look and feel your best at Reveal Med Spas. With personalized plans that deliver real results, radiant skin, restored confidence, and natural rejuvenation.
At Reveal Med Spa, we see you. More than just aesthetic and wellness treatments, we provide a safe, judgment-free space where you feel valued, heard, and supported.
Visit revealmedspas.com.
I think it is literally just that too. We'll just double check. Book your next session at revealmedspas.com. That's revealmedspas.com. Fast Signs. From banners to vehicle wraps, Fast Signs delivers custom visual solutions to help your business stand out. Their team ensures your message is clear, bold, and effective. Get your signage needed handled at fastsigns.com. That's fastsigns.com.
Dream Accounting Solutions. Take the stress out of managing your books with Dream Accounting Solutions. They provide reliable expert accounting services tailored to small businesses. Simplify your finances at dreamaccountingsolutions.com. That's dreamaccountingsolutions.com.
Exponential Impact. Exponential Impact is driving innovation and entrepreneurial success in Colorado Springs. Supporting startups with mentorship, funding, and community resources, they help businesses grow and thrive. Learn more about their impact at exponentialimpact.com. That's exponentialimpact.com.
And now let's get back to the show.
One of our businesses, we help people buy and sell businesses.
Uh-huh.
So when we value a business, there's hundreds of valuation factors, but we always talk about people, processes, and profits. Those are going to drive the value of your business.
Yeah.
And most of the time, the clients we love are the ones that are 3 to 10 years out that are like, I just want to know how to build a valuable business. But those things are the things, the processes primarily, which is what you guys do, are the things you're like, I just don't want to do this.
Yes.
And I'm like, look, I understand that, but when you don't have defined processes in your business, the value of your business is very low. When you don't have people that understand exactly what they should be doing with roles and scorecards and vision, then the value of your business is very low. And so this is awesome to hear how you do this, because most of the entrepreneurs, it's very deflating because we do a little bit of consulting with the OS to help them get off the ground, but they really need someone that does the work.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to do it for a quarter, maybe 2. And then I'm going to call them and say, hey, did you hire that person? Did you implement this process? Did you do this thing? And they're like, oh yeah, I need to get to that. I'm like, well, that's worth $500,000 of valuation in your business if you can get to that.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, I know, I need to do that.
Yeah.
So it's really cool that you guys are doing the work, because there's a lot of consultants that they just want to tell you what to do, right? They're like, hey, you should do this. And then it's like, well, no, someone needs to do it. And you may not have capacity as an entrepreneur to do it sometimes.
I think most entrepreneurs don't have the capacity. And if they do they really have the knowledge base to do it with excellence?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're not experts. They're experts in their passion. And that's really where the most value for them to put their efforts into is, right? I mean, we hired that consultant for a lot of money to tell us 3 sentences we needed to hear, but it was because he was the expert. He came to the table and helped us see that vision and helped us see that it could become a reality. Bringing the right people alongside you goes a long way, not to mention time. Time's a big factor too. When you're not an expert in these processes, especially in these activities, bookkeeping, accounting, payroll, it takes you probably 10x the amount of time that it would my staff.
For sure.
I oftentimes, say, okay, well, you can sit here and put together XYZ document. Let's say it's a ADA document. you're going to spend 3 hours researching, trying to figure out what you're going to do. You're going to write the document. And at the end of it, you're still not even going to be sure if it's right. And it could possibly get you into trouble, right? You come to me, 15 minutes, I got that baby done. And I know it's done well and it's executed great because I'm going to walk you through exactly what you need to do.
For sure.
So it's a big time saver and it's peace of mind. But you're right, especially like what we use the EOS model ourselves. It's a big part of who we are. Actually, we're having our big annual strategy planning tomorrow.
So are we.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, EOS is the best.
Be a full day deal.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've got my accountability chart all mapped out, all kinds of stuff. So anyway, I can geek out on that all day long. Where were we?
Helping clients with EOS.
Oh, yeah.
And
We don't
self-problems.
really advise our clients on EOS. We use it internally. We're really big on processes. We're really big on systems.
For sure.
While most of our clients think that it's an extremely custom experience for them, a lot of our systems are rinse and repeat.
For sure.
And we do it so much that it's almost not robotic because my team, they can never be compared to robots. They're too amazing. But we can do it with consistent. We can do it with our eyes shut and our hands behind our back.
For sure. Clients want to know what to expect every time from you.
Yes.
Right. I mean, people place a lot of value on, for example, In-N-Out. I know In-N-Out's going to be the same exact burger, whether you like it or not. It's going to be the same experience every time you go there. Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, my pleasure.
There's a value to that. You may hate it, you may love it, but every time I go there with our clients, they value that. They're going to show up. They're going to get the same experience, a great product, great service, great hospitality. And I think people without processes are so inconsistent. So it might be, and this is what the podcast does so well. Like the experience is the same every time. High quality, great guests. And when you don't have processes behind that, but that both these guys are good at, you're going to have this thing that's like this, that your clients are like, I'm not sure really what to do with you. Like, I don't know if you're really good or not really good or kind of good or.
I think you lose trust with your clients
For sure.
too.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, they don't know what to expect. And so they come to you. How can they even expect you to solve their problem if they don't even know who's going to be on the other side of the phone or what result they can expect? It's alarming. And when you don't have trust, you have nothing. So yeah, it's critical in everything we do that we have that consistency in that process. And thank goodness for our team, because I am not the process person. I am the visionary, hands down. If you ever call my office and you want to learn about process, Megan's your person to talk to. She is my process queen, and she is happy to put together an SOP for any of our clients.
Let's get her on the phone right now.
Right?
But it's funny how somebody's superpower is something you could hate.
Oh, yeah.
And that's I love the EOS model because it's visionary integrator. I do not like the integration piece of it.
Oh, I don't either.
But if I don't have it, we have a terrible product and service, right? Like if we don't have that person in the right seat, and that's my brother Marcus, which is interesting, same name. And he loves that stuff. In fact, he gets on me all the time because he's like, hey, we have this process and you did it 97% of the way. And I'm like, actually, so we were entering a client into our CRM today. And they're like, Chris, you entered it incorrectly in the way it's supposed to be entered. And I'm like,
oh, darn.
Damn it, just fix it then.
Yes.
Like, is it in there? Is it the data's there? We have them in
That's
But
hilarious.
to them, they see like the 3% not right. To me, I'm like, it's all good.
Yeah.
We got the business and we know they're going through the process. So it's going to be an incredible experience for them. And they're like, no, you didn't do it 100% the way that we agreed to. It's really fascinating.
Last week, my husband and I were in Panama for our anniversary. We were sitting on the beach and I was preparing for our EOS, our annual planning for tomorrow. And I looked at him, I was like, I am so lucky. I married my integrator. Who gets that pleasure?
That's perfect.
That's amazing.
God perfectly placed me with that man. He fills in all of my gaps and holes. Because for what I lack in detail, boy, he more than makes up for.
Counterpart,
So,
yeah,
That's
for
so
sure.
good.
yeah.
Well, I was watching your guys' videos on your website, and I saw that they all had like a prop specifically, and your husband had the knife, and then like
Yes.
I don't remember which thing you had, but someone had a question mark, and like
Uh-huh.
talk about like I guess the different seats of folks in your business and like what they do and what they relate to, and kind of the unique strengths that they have as well.
That's so funny you brought that up. Yeah, if you look at our team member profiles on our website, they're quite unique because you'll see more of a traditional headshot and then it'll change.
Yeah.
And what that is when we did that photo shoot, everybody brought a prop or an item that represents their passion behind what they do. So yeah, Brian had the knife. He likes slashing away at, the cost and saving people money. And he likes to slash waste. And then Jason, I think he's the one with the question mark. So I'll start there with Jason. Brian and I are, we're really the business owners. We thankfully have migrated, I'd say about 80% away from working in the business. And now we get the luxury of working on the business. So we're kind of boring. We do a lot of planning, management of the money. I do a lot of the leadership and the management of the team, a lot of communication, a lot of training, a lot of support. Our door is always open and our team members are always welcome to come in. And that's our first priority. Now, with the rest of our team, we have Jason. So anybody listening to the podcast, that's your first point of contact. Call Jason. He'll hook you up. He's our sales or business development wizard. Jason is out there, really spreading the word of our great reputation and who we are. He's our chief question asker. I think that's a better way of saying it. That's why he had the question mark. He has this innate way, and you guys really should get him on the podcast. He has this innate way of asking the most in-depth, thoughtful questions and pulling like true gold out of you to really understand what your true needs are. And then he's like, well, now I've got the perfect solution for you. So he's just a master at that. But it's really aligning what people truly need and not just selling a product just to get a product sold.
For sure.
Which we appreciate. Then there's Megan. Megan is our client experience manager. Her whole job is to make sure that our clients have an outstanding experience. Not only do we use EOS, but we also have a philosophy called giftology. So she manages that. But she takes...
Could you touch on that?
Yeah.
That sounds really interesting.
Yeah. Here, let me start with, so she starts with the onboarding process, right? So she takes our client as soon as they sign up for services. She takes them by the hand. She has her onboarding meeting. And especially you guys have signed on with accountants before. They request like 40,000 pieces of documentation in order to get started. And they won't touch anything until they have all 40,000 pieces of documentation. And it's overwhelming. She guides our clients through every part and piece of getting that documentation, making sure everybody's up and running. We have the right account set up. We're getting the right meetings for the HR set up. And it's very orchestrated and coordinated while we've got our dashboard and that's managed. Giftology, she also manages for us. We believe in the art of surprise and delight. And so we celebrate not just our clients, but our staff and our community all the time through gift giving. So Megan is in charge of super stalking. She goes online. And so when there's a moment to celebrate someone, we take full advantage of it. She will customize, go to the 11th degree to make sure that our clients are seen and heard and celebrated through gift giving initiatives. But we find all kinds of reasons to celebrate. So she manages that. And on top of that, she manages our client retention, our renewal process, and then Sometimes, not often. We've got a 90% retention rate for all of our clients. So very rarely she'll manage the offboarding process, because if someone chooses not to be or use our services anymore, we want to make sure that they have all of the tools and resources to go off into the wild world on their own. So we don't just say, screw you, bye. We actually give them everything they need plus some to make sure they're in good shape.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Have you heard of the 5 love languages?
I was gonna say gift giving. Come on.
Is that your guys' love language? Is that like giftology?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Mine is, and my wife's is not. And she wants words of affirmation and quality time, which are my lowest.
Are they?
So it's been really interesting. Her lowest are my lowest, and vice versa. And it's been interesting for us to be very intentional in our relationship. And with our team, for a long time, we had them fill out just the quiz for the 5 love languages, because I'm a gift guy. So I'd always be giving gifts. And then I would notice from some of my team, they're like, yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
And then some of them, if you're like, man, you did such a phenomenal job in that conversation, and they're just like filled up for a month. And I was like, oh, I need to be applying this differently, like with my team.
It's
Really
true.
interesting.
I think in people management, I oftentimes say this, and I think this is a really good example, is we've all heard of the golden rule, right? Do unto others as you've like done unto you. And, in the example of love languages, oftentimes we get stuck in our own head. And, gift giving could potentially be my love. Actually, words of affirmation and gift giving are kind of mine. But anyways, that's what I want. And so I believe everybody else wants that too. And so that's how I show my love to the world, right? But then if you've got words of affirmation or acts of kindness as yours, you're thinking, I don't want this stinking gift. I want that affirmation or that act of kindness. I want you to help me with the groceries when I come home from the grocery store. So I say ditch the golden rule because it's bogus, right? And subscribe to the platinum rule. Platinum rule, have you guys heard of this? No?
Use your platinum card to buy the gifts.
Well, sometimes.
First,
MX
explain the
Platinum.
golden rule for those who might not know.
Oh, do unto others as you'd like done unto you, right? Okay. Platinum rule is do unto others as they would like done unto them.
Ah,
So that means you got to get out of your head and seek to understand
right.
the needs of other people. And that's hard to do.
Yeah.
But boy, when you do it, it really pays off. It does. But I think that's kind of probably where you and your wife are. And even Brian and I, when we kind of went through the love languages and that conversation, because I mean, what couple hasn't done the test or read the book?
Actually, a lot.
Really?
That's when people are having some issues in their relationship, married or not married. I always say, hey, do these quizzes, because what I was doing forever before I experienced that, probably 5 years of our marriage, I felt like I was like doing all the right things. I'd come home and I'd be like, oh man, the dishes need to be done. She's tired. I'm going to do the dishes.
Yeah.
She cared nothing about that pile of dishes, like zero. In fact, she was like, you're doing these dishes instead of spending time with me talking on the couch.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I can't spend time with her because I need to do these dishes for her. Well, that's my love language, is acts of service and gifts.
Yeah.
So for me, it just opened up this scenario. And it's something that I have to have a conscious effort to every day.
Every day.
Which is really interesting. So I think that's a super useful model. And I think a lot of people,
that's a good one.
the platinum model and understanding love languages for clients, for your spouse or significant other, or your team.
Oh, yeah.
It's a huge advantage just to be able to give them what they need in the workplace.
Well, yeah, you look at leadership. I think it's critical in leadership and everything that you do, right? Because we have to meet our team where they are. We can't expect our team to meet us where we are. What kind of leader are you? Our jobs as leaders is to set our teams up for success, because without their success, they're not successful at all. If they fail, we fail twice as much, right? So we have to get out of that place of saying me, and pour into them regularly. But the only way we can pour into them is if we know how they need to be poured into. And that goes with recognition, feedback, performance, expectations. It's critical.
That's so good.
Was it so hard? Was it hard to get into that space of managing people? Maybe not for you, but maybe as you and your husband as co-founders of this business. Because like you're saying, as you kind of grow your business, you have to learn how to manage people. It's not like, I'm so good at HR, I'm so good at M&A or whatever it might be. It's like, I got to manage my team now. I got to make, like you said, their success is the most important thing now.
Yeah.
Was there any time where that was a challenge and you worked through that, or talk about that?
Absolutely. I do a lot of consulting for the SBDC, and 90% of my consulting with the SBDC is how to hire your first employee. And I always, whenever I consult with the SBDC on that very topic, I always tell that new business owner when they hire their first employee, not only are you hiring your first employee, you just promoted yourself to leadership. So take that seriously. And when we hired our first employee, that's exactly what we did. I came from a place in leadership. I had led larger teams, but still, when it's your own business, it's very different. I'd like to say it's not personal, but it is personal, especially with Brian and I. I mean, all of our eggs were in one basket. We were both entrepreneurs and we had everything to lose. So we had that first employee. We were disorganized, discombobulated, no systems, no processes. And we wanted that employee to put it all together. We expected that employee to pull everything we had built out of our brains and do something with it. The problem is that we didn't even realize that's what needed to happen. We're like, just do your job. You're an admin, answer the phones and do things. And she's like, I really don't know what to do. And we're like, well, this is what I did. It was definitely a learning process, especially you walk into a job and, as an employee, usually those systems and processes are built out and you're trained on them. When we first started out, there was none of that. And so it was an evolution of a few years. And actually I think it was our second employee, really kind of stopped us dead in our tracks. And she's like, listen, you guys are holding on to a lot of information that you don't even realize, and you're unintentionally gatekeeping and preventing us from doing our jobs. And it was kind of like it was that moment where it was like, oh, you're right. And so at that point, we became very intentional in getting those systems and those processes in place. And it was a rude awakening too, because we were setting our team members up for failure at that point.
That's tough though. I mean, you're transitioning from working in to on the business. And we just had a conversation today with one of the businesses we're scaling. And I'm like, if any of us is needed in the business, we've screwed this up.
Yeah.
Right. Like I want to be wanted in the business, but if I'm needed, we don't have the proper controls and processes in place. But it's something you almost hit a level and then you've done it well. And then you hit another level and you're like, oh, now I'm back in the business, even with the rebrand.
Yeah.
Did you see that as you guys said, all right, we have two businesses very successful running sideways or alongside each other.
Yeah.
Now we're building a new thing and you're back in this. So talk us a little bit about how that merger manifested.
Yeah. So the merger happened. We launched August of this year. And it's right. And we did it right. And we're really, really proud of what we built. We took our time. We threw spaghetti on the wall. Don't get me wrong, but we threw spaghetti on the wall before we launched and tested a lot out. We're still testing a decent amount out. But one thing that I find interesting is, EOS, they always say you've got to have the right people in the right seats. What this merger did was expose that we didn't have some of the right people in the right seats. And they were not buying into the merger. They did not want the change. And so 3 weeks before the merger took place, we had 2 critical employees leave us.
Wow.
Yeah. And so that was very, very, very painful. So it did force us to actually work back in the business for a while. We also made a bad hire just a few weeks ago. She lasted with us for a couple of weeks, but we quickly had to terminate. But it's helpful to know when you have the wrong people on board. We're able to spot it pretty quickly.
Can you touch on that? Because I think hiring is the dang toughest thing in the world.
Yeah, it is.
For all of our listeners.
Yeah.
And we've hired dozens, if not hundreds of people. You have as well.
Mm-hmm.
How do you approach that? Because I think there's a couple of schools of thoughts. One is like a lot of grace and give them more time. And the other is like fire fast.
Yeah.
What's a model that is useful for, because with small business, you can't afford to keep somebody that's bad. If you got 5 employees or 10 employees, they can destroy your bottom line.
Oh boy.
So what's a model you could give to our listeners or our viewers that has worked well?
I'll tell you what we do. We hire for culture. 110% cultural fit. You can train skills all day long. You cannot train behaviors. So for us, it is all about a cultural fit. Skills and qualifications come next. They're important. Like we hire really, really smart people and we'll stick by that. But it's not always book smart either. They're just smart and savvy people who are trainable.
Savion people.
Savion.
Savion people.
Yes, exactly. So first we hire for culture. When we go to hire, what we do is we put every candidate through a series of interviews and multiple team members have a say. And if one team member says absolutely not, this person's not a good fit, they're not our candidate. So the first interview that any candidate goes through is our culture interview. And we are purely evaluating for a cultural fit. And really it comes down to, will we enjoy working with this person and will they support our clients well based on our values? Our values are hospitality, which I talked about, trust and expertise. They have to fit that bill. 100% unanimous. And then we'll have a technical interview. And in that technical interview, we'll assess, are they really smart? Are they trainable? Are they coachable? So those are the criteria. And like I said, multiple people. One person speaks up and says, no, they're not a good fit. That person's not going to be hired by us. And that's where we went wrong with our most recent poor hire. We were constrained on time. Schedules weren't lining up and we skipped the culture interview. And it put us into a bad place with this new employee really quick. She came on board. We saw pretty quickly that she wasn't a cultural fit. I believe in giving someone a chance. Have a conversation with them. Maybe it's a bad day. Maybe it's starting off on the right or wrong foot. Give someone a chance. But if they quickly don't change and adjust and meet the needs of the business, complement the culture, they have to go.
That's really good. We've said character and competence. So kind of the same thing, right? Like, and you need both because we've had some folks that I'm like, and maybe you have to define your culture better. Maybe we need to define our culture better, but we've had some really good character fits and then we didn't dial in the competence. And I'm like, wow, I love working with these people, but they can't do the job.
Yeah.
And EOS talks about that get it, want it, and capacity.
Yeah.
And when you skip that piece, it's pretty quick that you're like, and then for me as a leader, I'm like, I screwed up. This is my mistake.
Yep.
Like I put you in a position where you can't win. And I have to own that, which is really tough because then you've wasted their time and your time. But I feel like if you're continuing to grow, you're still going to make those mistakes no matter, how big you get.
Oh, so true. Absolutely. I think, looking back at that recent hire that we made, we let her go pretty quick. And it was very telling because explain to you our culture of hospitality. And that's how we treat each other in the office. Like behind closed doors, we're a pretty awesome bunch, right? We cut up, we laugh, we get along, we do great things. What was really telling about, making the right decision and letting her go is she called one of our current employees and said, well, at least I don't have to kiss anybody's ass anymore.
Wow.
Yeah. So just, thinking about that, it was like, oh, wow. So if she walked in and being nice to each other was classified in that way, it really was not a
Definitely
good
not.
fit. Yeah. So
That's brutal.
it was very telling, but usually you get that affirmation. I call it freeing up one's future, open
Yeah.
up a world of possibilities.
For sure. One of my greatest mentors, that's probably the greatest gift he gave to me is like, Chris, if you know that you have somebody on the team that's not a fit, you're preventing them from exploring their future dreams.
Absolutely.
And he's like, that as a leader, that's on you.
Mhm.
Like they may stay in there for way too long. That's on them, but it's on you as a leader to see that, address it, and say, I'm not going to allow you to do this. I want you to go into this next position somewhere else that's going to be a better fit for you, that you want to explore those dreams. I don't know, really interesting.
No, it's a great point.
Yeah, being in human resources for all of these years, there's been a few times I've been hugged during terminations, and essentially the common theme is the employees felt trapped. They felt like they had no other option.
Mhm.
And when you sit at that termination table and you make that decision, it's usually a release for them.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm no longer trapped.
That's really good.
I'm curious, as far as like good case studies from your business over the years. I mean, so you're in year 7 or 8. What year are you in now at this point?
10. We're
So
old.
talk about or brush over some like fun success stories of clients that you guys have had over the years that have really had a lot of success through your guys' services.
Oh boy, gosh, where do I start? Okay. Um, I have this one client. I'm not going to say their name because they're still clients. They're incredible. The first time I ever met with them, the admin had sought me out, and all she really wanted was an employee handbook. So I go in and I start talking with her about the employee handbook, what goes into it. And quickly she's like, I can't answer that. I can't answer that. I don't have authority. So she pulls in the business owner. And the business owner kind of walks in with dread in his face. And he's like, oh, I don't have time for this. But I start asking him questions. And before I know it, within probably 10 minutes, he starts unloading. Just you could tell this heaviness of all of these employee problems that he'd been experiencing over the past few years. And he had employees who would never show up to work on time. The company had to adhere to pretty strict safety and FDA standards, and he was really struggling. He felt like he had to babysit them on it. Um, the employees would just kind of come and go as they wanted. They would take advantage of the generosity of the company. He had one employee who the wife had recently had a baby, so he paid the employee's wages while he was out on paternity leave. And then the employee came back and started demanding more wages and an increase. And
Oh man.
employees started making all of these demands and just walking all over him. So I started talking with him about his leadership. And I'm like, well, are you talking with them about their attendance? Oh, no, I can't do that. I'm afraid.
Mhm.
Why are you afraid? Because I'm going to get sued. Why are you going to get sued for asking an employee to come in on time? Did you give that employee that raise?
Mhm.
Well, yeah. Why'd you give him the raise? Because I don't want to get sued. Well, you could have told him no. And I'm like, so it kind of kept going. And essentially, the employees got so used to him constantly saying yes, all the things that they wanted, they just started walking all over him. He wouldn't say no because he just came in a place of fear. And it actually created one of the most toxic cultures I'd ever seen within an organization because it wasn't consistent. It wasn't fair. When Timmy would ask for a raise, Janie would get upset because Timmy's getting a raise for no reason. It's just because he asked, but she didn't want to ask because she didn't want the spotlight on her. And, Joey's not coming into work until, 9, but, Fran has to be in at 7:30 like everybody else. And it was just this toxic culture of resentment. Fast forward 4 years later. This is probably one of the most thriving cultures I've seen. They are productive. They are kind. They're profitable. The business owner is still one of the most kind business owners I've ever met. But we were able to put parameters and boundaries around his generosity and set expectations and create consistency for this business owner to where the employees know what to expect. Because not only do clients need to know what to expect, employees need to know what to expect too. But They know what to expect. They know and are accountable for their job. And they actually have the ability and the authority and trust to make decisions within their job.
Mhm.
It's probably one of the best stories and most proud cultures I've ever been witness to.
Can I ask you a question on
Yeah.
that? So I have a thesis that I've said a lot, which is you cannot have good culture without process.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of people that the C levels are like, well, it's my personality and I've got this great energy. And I'm like, well, how are you sure that there's consistency?
hmm
Right? How are you sure that, like you said, they're going to get the same experience where they know the culture is this, we're culture of hospitality. Great. Tell me how.
Yeah.
Right? What's the process that your client knows I'm going to get the same hospitable treatment every single time? And I think people have kind of landed on oftentimes the strength of their personality, and it could be the weakness of their personality, as opposed to, no, the processes should define your culture. You get to say what that culture is, but the processes should be able to deliver that same culture. And I've actually had quite a bit of pushback from people that are really like, no, process kills culture. And I'm like, I haven't seen it that way.
No, not at all. If executed correctly, you're right. It creates predictability
Mm.
and consistency. Again, going back to setting your employees up for success, right? Giving them a recipe for success
Mhm.
is critical. Otherwise, you're setting them up for failure. Like I did all those years ago when we hired our first employee. I didn't have that recipe
Mhm.
to set them up for success. It's like trying to bake bread without a recipe.
Mhm.
Throw some flour in a bowl and hope it bakes. I mean, that's truly what it is. Your employees need to know that. I mean, we've gone as far as building out a very solid onboarding process. And the employee that we're onboarding currently, I mean, she's come to me 3 times in the last 2 days saying, this is the best onboarding experience I've ever had. And it's not just because of what she started off seeing
Mhm.
on Monday. It backs up 2 weeks ago to setting up those systems, those computers, making sure she's got a good chair,
Mhm.
a mouse pad, rearranging her office so she would be comfortable, making sure that, you know, everything is nipped up. So when she arrives, she's not sitting there for 2 weeks without a computer and wondering when that chair is going to arrive.
Mhm.
It's how much trust you have in your employer at that point.
For sure. You didn't give her that original chair from the bedroom, did you?
No,
From the bedroom office.
the broken chair.
Everyone has to sit in it for a week to appreciate the $500 chair.
No, nobody uses that chair. I think that we've told that story so much, everybody's afraid of it.
That's good.
That's so funny.
The OG chair.
It really is. But yeah, Chris, I couldn't agree with you more. Humans, we're product of our routine.
Hmm.
We just are. We like it. No matter how creative, visionary we are, we still have our rhythm and routine. And if we can create that for our employees, you set them up for success. I think it feeds into your culture. It's not the end all be all.
Mhm.
Leadership is also a huge component to your culture.
Mhm.
It's very cyclical, right? You know, your leaders, your team members, they don't listen to what you say, they emulate what you do,
Mhm.
right? So they watch and see how you show up and they emulate that. So leadership set that culture. They watch how you treat people, they watch how you work with people, and they do that. And that creates your culture. And then you take your values and then build your values into your culture. And that's when you
Mhm.
start making decisions to really cultivate your culture. So it's a multi-pronged effort, but when you get it right, oh, it's so good.
Oh, it's so good.
It is. But systems are a huge part.
Mhm.
Huge.
Well, perfect. Well, Miss Chief Problem Solver, what's the next year look for Savion HQ?
Oh my goodness. Well, we're going to be planning a lot of that tomorrow.
We'll know tomorrow.
I was gonna say, send us a
Or
text.
Thursday morning.
You know, over the next year, we've had a year of substantial change. I think it's going to be a lot of creating and refining a lot more of our consistencies. Our systems were already in place, but I think there's going to be some more refining, creating a stronger client experience, especially that cohesive underneath one roof experience, which we're really excited to build out even deeper because people place so much into the money. Right now, because we're not two separate businesses and our NDAs apply to both business or the one business, now my bookkeeper can say, hey, listen, I'm seeing a lot of money going towards recruiting on the books. Let me go over to HR and figure out if we've got a retention issue and we can start collaborating on
Nice.
that,
So good.
right?
Yeah.
And then that's where we've become really powerful. So we're really excited to kind of build and boost that up. Not to mention we have just launched payroll services.
Nice.
So we're doing fractional payroll. So we're really going to put a huge effort into building up our payroll services there too. So big things coming our way, but a little bit of stability, which I like.
Man, this has been awesome. I feel like we can talk to you for hours. There's just so much I want to talk about. It's been so great finally meeting you in person. And again, thank you so much for supporting our show and finally just coming and meeting us. It's so fun talking to you. I can tell you're building something truly special. We'd love to come down there.
Please do. Yes.
And come hang out. Yeah.
Andrew knows the way.
Yeah. You can bring Andrew back. But this is your camera right here. Where can we find you?
All right, everybody. You can find me, Reanna Werner, Savion HQ at savionhq.com. Go and check out June, who is our AI agent. She is not a chatbot. We're focused on your sales. She's going to answer your tax, accounting, and HR questions and, get a little peek into our culture, who we are. Not to mention, you can find us on all social media channels, everything from Facebook, Insta. We're kickstarting a TikTok. That'll be interesting. So
You guys have a podcast as well too, right?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes. We're in between seasons right now, but we also have a podcast called Show Me Yours, where we talk about all of the interesting mistakes and lessons learned that entrepreneurs and small business owners experience. So check us out. Please call me.
So good.
Perfect. Well, this has been awesome. Thank you again for joining us. And this has been the COS Business Podcast, and we'll see you guys on the next one.